So before moving on the main event, I will briefly go over today's agenda. First, we will have introduction of J4 events, and then the introduction of Senpai panelists. Then we will have a Senpai Real Talk session, part 1 for 20 minutes, then Q&A session, 15 minutes. Then we'll go to part 2 for 20 minutes, then Q&A session for 15 minutes, then closing announcements. So if you have any questions for the panelists, you can submit your questions on the chat throughout the event, or you can raise your hand to be able to unmute yourself and then speak up during the Q&A session. And as you can see, this QR code, it is for us to be interactive during the event. So please scan the QR code and share your thoughts. So the first question is, what do you think about Shukatsu? Please add your answers here, scan this QR code, and then if you put the Slido code 3303324, you will, oh, great. You already answered a lot of questions, and yeah, please keep writing. Let's go back to the agenda slide. Okay, then Nicole, our amazing student intern who are studying at Okayama University right now, is going to explain our event.
Okay, hi everyone. As she said, my name is Nicole. I'm a fourth year university at Okayama. I'm a fourth year student at Okayama University. So again, thank you to everyone for joining today's session. The reason why we decided to do this event in the first place was to share with international students like you and me that there is a space for you in Japan after you graduate. So at J-Port, we're lucky enough to have around 40 senpais who have agreed to support students in their job hunting. And hopefully through listening to our 4 senpai stories today, you can also be motivated to do your own job hunting and be able to imagine a future for yourself in Japan. So with that, we'll be having the last event of our Empower Youth on August 6th from 1 to 3 p.m. It's going to be our first hybrid event at the Hive Jinon in Shibuya for those in Tokyo, and on Zoom for those who are not in Tokyo. So 2 of our panelists, actually, Annie and Hai-san, will be there on site. So hopefully everybody can join, sign up to the QR code there or through the link I will be sending shortly. Yeah, see everybody there. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Okay, let's then introduce today's special panelists. So first, Annie. Annie-san, can you turn your video on and quickly introduce yourself to everyone? Yes.
Okay, hello, can everyone hear me? Okay, hi, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Annie and I'm from Vietnam. Yeah, a little bit about me. I graduated from Nitsumeikan APU 4 months ago. So yeah, I've been working for about 3 to 4 months now. And during my university, I also went on an exchange at the University of British Columbia in Canada, studying business. However, right now I am working full-time as a UI UX engineer at Rakuten, which we can get onto later about my Shukatsu journey. Because I broke into tech and design without the formal background. So I've been trying to honing my skills and my knowledge, as well as keep giving back and paying it forward to students who are looking into working in tech or creative in Japan as well. So I'm on the side. I am working at Maimizu as a UX designer to produce plastic through a water refill app. And I'm also the co-organizer at Japan Product Camp, where we give training, networking opportunities, and knowledge to those who are looking into product jobs in Japan. So that's a bit about me. And if you have any questions at all during this session, feel free to raise your hand, unmute yourself, or also comment in the chat. And yeah, I will try my best to support you. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Annie. Okay, next, Anindia-san. Can you
Hello.
introduce yourself? Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anindya. I'm from Indonesia. I also graduated from Ritsumikang APU in 2016, which is around 6 years ago. After the graduation, I worked for a little bit, like around 1.5 years in Tokyo. It is a startup company. So I started my job in a startup. And then after that, I continued to my master's degree in Glasgow in UK. And then after my master's degree, I came back to Japan again. So upon my graduation from master's degree, I entered Daimler Trucks Asia for 2 years. And right now I'm working for Coca-Cola Bottlers Japan. And it is a bit probably different with Annie, which just started work around like 3-4 months in Rakuten. For me, I have worked for 3 different companies. So if you have any questions about why I am moving to different companies, and then how did I did my Shukatsu when I was in university, as well as why I chose the Daisuke, the international companies instead of Japanese companies. So let's ask me more during the session. And yeah, if you have any question, you can just write on the chat, and then also you can add my LinkedIn later on. So see you again soon in the session.
Thank you, Anindya-san. Okay, the next panelist is Hai-san. Hai-san.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Hi. Hi. I graduated from Tokyo International University, batch 2019. I got a Bachelor of Economics. So economics, but work in tech is a switchover career. Very tough time because I have to have a lot of challenge to break through. So I took a lot of self-learning classes, took a few certificates, and got my first intern through a kind of like hackathon type of thing after that, and then got my first intern, and then I volunteered in a lot of tech event, built my connection in Slush, A-Life, and everything else. And then once I joined a startup bootcamp, and then after that, like my mentor from there, like we talked together, and then he opened his own company, Matchbox Technologies and everything. And then I joined in as the analytics engineer and been working there from now on. So reason I joined JPort as a as senpai, because I want everyone to feel a little bit older, So that's why I joined, make you guys feel older at the same time, give good tips, help you guys through job hunting. So nice to meet you all. Yeah, yoroshiku.
Thank you, Hai-san. And then the last panelist is Jonathan-san. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. Sorry if my voice is a little bit clear today. I'm John. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit old in here to be, but here I spent 4 years at EU. Before that, I tried myself a little bit in Singapore, National University of Singapore engineer. Didn't like that path of engineer. I switched. I went to Japan. After graduating from APU, spent about 3 years in outside a professional service company. The last position was I was a manager managing a consulting business there. And currently, I'm a senior manager in Archit. It's also the same industry, a global research company. We're based in Tokyo and also in so hopefully I can share today.
Thank you, Jonathan-san. He's joining from Vietnam. So thank you for your time with 2-hour time difference. Okay, thank you everyone. And before we start, let's see what you guys wrote, your answers to Tower Shukatsu. Okay, painful, tiring, complicated, outdated. Oh, and this mendokusai. Okay, so the participants have this kind of image towards Shukatsu. So panelists can answer some of the questions or maybe change their ideas. Okay, let's get started the Senpai Real Talk session. Okay, the first topic is your Shukatsu story. So let's start with Hai-san. Can you share your Shukatsu story? Why, like what you did, traditional Shukatsu, and why you decided to go into engineering industry?
Oh yeah. So my story is well, pretty normal. So I started my Shukatsu quite early, from my third year. So at first, actually, it started from like second year. Okay, so second year, I was like always thinking about, oh, okay, I'm gonna be a economics professor. I love economics. I love everything related to it, just because of how I developed my love for statistics. So I went through everything, and after talking, I mean, statistics in a sense is like if you watch Moneyball, so you're gonna be like so in love with statistics. And so after talking through my professor and everyone, consult everyone, I found out that I don't like, the economics academic path. And so during the second year, I joined a lot more into like the tech scene in like volunteering tech scene event in Tokyo. So that's when I found out there's a career path for like, oh, data stuff. It's a hybrid between tech and data, right? And so I started doing my third year, getting a lot more into it. I brushed up a lot of my skills, brushed up a lot of my CV, and started out going through like some companies. So first company I applied to is like a Chinese cybersecurity company. It was very dodgy. I didn't know what I was doing. So I went to the first trial, and then there's a lot of nice questions they throw in there, like, I have you code over 10,000 lines, or like some kind of those questions they want to test me out. But what I realized in like Shukatsu in Japan is that they're gonna train you over from the beginning, or is it like provide some support for training. They want to know more about yourself as a human. So usually, doing the CV, you need to show your strong points as a human, or like some of the challenges you come through during university. So which is what I do really well in my CV. And with all those brush up, I started my traditional job hunting, and traditional job hunting was hard. I applied over many companies to many websites, wearing suits, go through the summer to each interview, and each interview is very hard because I feel I don't fit in with the environment. And even like in some interviews, instead of doing the actual interview, I start complaining with the interviewer. And sometimes I like there's a one time there's like two female interviewers, they tear up when hearing about my complaint. It's like, yeah, I get you. And after that, I was like, okay, I need to find a way out. So I started reaching out with my contacts I have doing volunteering and joining different tech events. And from there, I use my network, utilize my networks, and I reached out to one of my mentor, and he got his own startup company. That's when we got together, and then I joined the company, and worked there from until now. Yeah, so that's my story.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's hear from some non-traditional way. Ani-san. So you did traditional shukatsu a little bit, and then you actually you didn't go to design school, but you acquired skills, and then now you are a UI UX designer. So what was your shukatsu story? Can you share?
Yeah, it's
I know it's like a long story, but
it's definitely has been a wild ride. Lots of ups and downs, lots of doubting moments. Was this for me? Is it really possible to pursue design? Can I actually work in tech without knowing how to code? Definitely there were a lot of doubts at the beginning. So I really forced myself to follow what others have been doing, because I was telling myself that's what others have been doing, so it must work. So for the first, I guess, 6 months of intense shukatsu, I was doing traditional job hunting, going to seminar, doing the mendang, writing your ES, and then going submitting it. But I never got into any interview rounds, actually. I always got rejected at the application form. And at one point, I looked at my Excel sheet. I believe that when you do Shukatsu, everyone has like an Excel sheet tracking which company they applied to, how far they get to. And then I realized that, okay, I could never pass the first interview round. So something must be wrong. And then I realized that if this is not going to work, I should pivot from it. And what I figured out was I've always known that I don't want to pursue like a business management route, but I want to combine my business management background with like my passion for creativity and design, and with something that's combining a lot of things, and so something that's not familiar because no one around me was pursuing a creative direction, so there was no set path for me. So if I realized that if I really want to go down to this route, I need to think outside the box. I need to do something that not many people has done before, and I need to believe in the process. So I started to build my design portfolio to get my first volunteer internship in the UX UI realm at my Mizu as a volunteer. And after doing some projects with them and launching up real products that had actual feedback and impact to, I guess, about 70,000 users worldwide who were using the app, I've won. I get to, yeah, I built up my portfolio. I got to hone the skills that I need as a junior designer. And most importantly, I worked with a lot of people from cross teams, with product manager, engineer, as well as like marketing and business development people. And actually my product manager, who I was working directly with for 4 or 5 months, he was from the company that I'm currently working at. So because we worked well together and I showed him my passion, and I also kind of not complain, but I told him that I really want to pursue and break into tech. So he actually offered back to me, like, do you want to work at my company? So he actually showcased me. He introduced me to his company. I did my internship there, and something just about, knowing on the first week I was doing my internship, I knew that, okay, this is definitely something that's for me, and I feel that I will get the job for sure. So the rest of the internship, I just do my best and connect with the people, do my job well. And then at the end of my evaluation, I got my night day from my current company. So yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, then let's ask the traditional Shukatsu from Anindya-san. You did traditional Shukatsu for Gaishi company, and then can you share what was your Japanese level?
Sure. Yeah, like previously in this screen, I saw your answers from everyone. What do you think about Shukatsu? And everyone say, oh, it is mendokusai, it is painful, it is stressful. And it may be around 90%, if I can simply group into like positive and negative. 90% of the answers are like a bit negative, right? And then I was trying to see which one is the positive one. I saw the neutral one, which is experience. Experience can be like positive experience or negative experience. But I didn't really see the positive one, to be honest. That time when I was doing the Shukatsu, I also felt the same like you guys. So every day was very hot. I had to wear the suits, and then
Suits, yeah, in the
I have
summer,
to that time in 2016 I had to write the CV, everything in Japanese and handwritten. I don't know
Oh,
now, hopefully not.
Yeah.
But in 2016 was still like that. So I did that almost every day, and then because it is handwriting, you cannot have some mistakes, right? And then you have to modify or tailor your CV into different companies. So one company, one CV.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you apply 50
Tailor-made.
companies, exactly. If you apply 50 companies, then it means that 50 CV with different companies, everything's like handwriting. It was quite terrible at the time. And my handwriting is really bad, to be honest. Yeah.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's very difficult.
Yes.
So if you're asking me what me about the traditional Shukatsu, how I did it.
Yes.
So yeah, basically maybe same as everyone here. I just like went to the career office in my university in APU, and then I tried to find some information. And then after that, I tried to join the Satsumekai at the campus as well as outside the campus as well. And I tried to apply, sending my CV, and then having some like short first interview with them. So some companies, like most of the companies, maybe like around 90%, didn't accept me from the first interview. Why? Because my Japanese was a really good at that time. When I did my first Shukatsu, I didn't have my JLPT, but I did the Japanese mock test that time, and then the score was around N3. So I tried,
N3.
so every time they ask me, how is your Japanese? I cannot say that, oh, I have a JLPT. I cannot say that, right? I just said that my Japanese language is around N3 because I completed the mock test, but it is not JLPT. And then some company could understand and then asked me to go to the second interview. But during the second interview, they asked me again, and then they challenged me with a lot of like very difficult Japanese. And finally, I couldn't answer this. I said to them, yeah, my Japanese is quite limited. If you allow me to answer your questions in English, then it is fine. I can answer, but in Japanese, it's really complicated at the time. So I said to them clearly, if you really ask me to do Japanese, then it is impossible. And the most funny thing, actually, I was doing the Shukatsu for Mitsubishi Shoji. Is a very big company. But for the they will locate me in Indonesia. So my first interview was in Japan.
Really?
So yeah, in the first interview it was fine. I mean, like they use a very simple Japanese. And then they paid me the ticket to Indonesia for my second interview. So I went to Indonesia. The first question when I entered the room, do you know what? They gave me the Indonesian newspaper and they said, could you please translate to Japanese for this one whole page? From Indonesian language to
Wow.
Japanese. Handwriting.
Really?
Yeah.
Handwriting?
Handwriting.
No way. Wow. That's so tough.
I already know that I will not pass this. Yeah.
Wow.
And I got the result the next week after that, and then it is said that you are not passed. Yeah. So I already know that. Yeah. But that's my story of the traditional Shukatsu. And then after that, I could get my first job. Actually, it is also through the traditional Shukatsu. So I was also already a bit desperate at the time. I couldn't get jobs from big companies. I just tried to apply every companies. And finally, I could get one company who called me and then who can like have some interviews with me. Finally, I got one, even though it was not my dream. Yeah. Yeah.
I see. Thank you for sharing the great story.
No problem.
Then, okay, lastly, Jonathan-san, since you did non-traditional Shukatsu and then plus you did like in English. So can you share your story?
Yeah, of course, we'll be happy to.
Yes.
I don't know, to be honest, whenever my my Shukatsu started, but I think it started somewhere around year 2. I would call that because for me, it's the second and the third year are more about learning about yourself. So what I did in year 2 and year 3 is to do a lot of internships. And through these internships, I kind of learned about which industry do I like, which industry I do not like. And then third year is when I involved with a lot of school activities, and most of them are business case competitions. And I found out my love for solving problems. And I figured out, oh, okay, professional service it's gonna be strategy consulting and management consulting is something I'm gonna aim for. So and I did a little bit of unconventional because I did my research and I found that there are only a couple of companies that do not require Japanese in Japan in that industry. And most of the prestigious companies require an MBA, for example, McKinsey or BCG.
MBA.
So yeah, so I'm like, okay, kind of I'll leave there. I need to take another couple more years if I want to apply there. And then I'm like, okay, then I need to find the place who will have the role for me. So it's a little bit hard because I didn't go to any of the job fairs. So I didn't have a lot of concepts about what are available on the market for me. And then what I try to do is just to go on LinkedIn and start looking for companies in the same bucket. And somehow I got connection to a couple of people, and then talk to them, ask them about the company and the role, learn more a little bit about it. And if I know them well, I ask them to give me a referral to that company. So they give me referrals to that. Eventually, I got reached out by Alpha Sites, and back then the base was in Hong Kong, and it was so fun because this whole concept it just fits every criteria of me of a professional firm, consulting segment. I was able to grow and learn by myself, a very good package, and especially what is most interestingly is that they have this called Alpha Camp, which all of the new joiners across all the 4 offices will fly to Hong Kong for a 1-week training. And I was like, that sounds just like McKinsey and EY. That's exactly where I want to go. And I'm like, okay, I'm in. And then go in there, do exactly the same thing as I did with a lot of the time with this case study round, behavior rounds, and then there goes the journey. And I what I like the most about the company is probably the really fast promotion. Like their promotion criteria is based on your performance, not really much about your seniority or the year you spend. So that's why I think what I like the most about, finally just landed on that job. I have a couple more offers from other companies that I reach out for, but it's not as attractive. So
I see. Great. Thank you, everyone. Okay, let's move on to the Q&A session. I see some questions asked in the chat. So, okay, let's see. First one, I have a question. Why Bunke students chose Nikkei position? Probably that's for Hai-san. If they learn new things from 0 level, how they get their comparative, so Hai-san already answered that question. Okay, then let's go to the second question. I'm sort of curious about this. I heard that your gakubu does not matter in Shukatsu, but it's really true. Okay. Then thank you for your time today, senpais. I was wondering how would you utilize the most of LinkedIn as a Shukatsu-sei? Okay. Can anyone answer how to utilize LinkedIn as a Shukatsu-sei? Maybe Jonathan-san. Yes, you extensively use LinkedIn, right? Yes. Oh, your audio kind of stopped. So.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, it was like wait, did I lost? I think
No. I still can hear you. Yeah. Okay. Please turn off your video and then answer. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was great the point that it connects you to people who work in the company that you want to join. So it's only helpful if you know what are you applying for. So you need to know yourself and the industry or the company you want to apply, and then go out because there are so many openings on LinkedIn. And you also need to know where you are, where is your ideal market, because a lot of them would be overqualified or underqualified for you. So kind of know where you are and where the market is. Also, there's this thing called LinkedIn Premium or something like that. Yeah, they give you 1 month trial, and I only had 1 month of actual Shukatsu. So I'm like, okay, give it for free, why not? And use that really extensively. It's so helpful for you. And another tools you also want to utilize are recruiting agencies. They are the one that will do this job. Like understand. Try to know the industry you are going for.
Oh, I think I lost you.
They got everything you need.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jonathan-san. Is there any other questions? You can raise your hand. You can ask verbally, or you can write your questions in the chat.
I guess I can add on to
yes, great.
LinkedIn as a connection method. For me, LinkedIn, I use LinkedIn as a tool. I wouldn't say like you must use LinkedIn if you want like English speaking job, or that's the way to find like recruiters. Because for me, before using LinkedIn, I would say I was not very, I'm quite shy. I was really afraid to reach out to recruiters or people in the company, but I really love doing extracurricular activities, and I really love volunteering. So I used to fly to Tokyo from Beppu to do like a beach clean with my
Wow.
so the company, the organization I was working with. Yeah. And then when I was in Tokyo, I realized that there are a lot of communities in Tokyo. And for me as a creative, there's actually a lot of creative communities in Tokyo for foreigners as well. So I was in a couple of them. And while I was in Tokyo for a short period of time, I actually went to those networking events, but not so much networking, but sometimes they have like seminars or webinars or just casual talking session, and I would go. And similar to LinkedIn, I would use LinkedIn to connect with people, not necessarily to find job, but to talk to people who has worked in the industry, how they found their job, or what is their current position at their company is like. So I would, do volunteer work. I would go to these random events, or even like joining webinars like the one that we're doing today, and connect with people who are either panelists or fellow participants. And I keep that relationship going. So that was really helpful for me at the beginning of my Shukatsu stage, to figure out if this is the career or this is the path that I want to go to.
Okay, thank you so much.
May I add something
Next,
from Annie?
yes.
Yeah, actually, I totally agree with Annie. For example, if you guys are interested to use LinkedIn to find some works, I think if the intention is just to find some works, it is a bit quiet, or it is a bit, people are hesitant when you ask someone like, can you please give me the job? I'm interested to your company. I am interested to your profile. So it seems that I'm fitting those jobs. I think that's not the way how to looking for jobs. Rather, you can just join some events that person is holding, like what Annie said, or finding some events that can bring the like wider network for you, instead of just messaging someone and then asking for, can you please give the job for me? So I also, because have some experience, some people messaging me, I like your profile, I like where you are, and then please give me some job. It is not like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, like, I would like to help you guys. I would love to share you my experience, but it is not like this the way. Yeah. If you can ask me in different way, I know that the intention is to get the job. That's fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But if you can ask me in a different way, for example, oh, you're making this event, can I join your event? Can you please tell me more about that event? What is that event? And then can you please tell me about your experience? I'm interested in your field, like that. It is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you everyone for sharing the tips for the networking. Okay, so Chawla-san is raising his hand, so you can turn your video on, and yes, go ahead.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity. And well, actually, I'm now a PhD student at the Ritsumeikan University, and I'm on my second year, going to like the third year in September. Well, I'm not sure when I will graduate, but probably in 2023 or 2024. And I'm actually interested in like applying for jobs in Japanese like company, or international company in Japan. But I'm not sure like whether, like, I think Anidia-san previously also mentioned that he went to like master degree or something in the overseas in Glasgow, if I'm not mistaken. So like, how did you like start like Shukatsu or like the other things like as a graduate student? I mean, previously I also had an experience working in Singapore as a researcher, but now like I'm looking for like job opportunities like as a policy analyst or like something similar to that. So maybe that's my question, like how to do the process, because like as a graduate student, probably it will be totally different, especially I'm a graduate from like the overseas university, but now I'm in Japan, but like how should the process go? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Anindya-san.
Can I answer?
Can
Okay. Hello, Chaula. Nice to meet you. I think your experience is a bit unique. So can I know more specifically? So before you come to Ritsumeikan University for your PhD, you did some work in Singapore
Yeah.
for how many years?
Okay, so well, I did my master degree in Singapore at the Rajaratnam School of International Studies and the Nanyang Technological University. I worked at that university, at the Nanyang Technological University, for about 3 years. So like mostly my work was like giving policy recommendations to the Singapore Ministry of Defense about Indonesia, about the Indonesian defense and security policies.
Okay, and then after that, you came to Japan for your PhD.
Yeah, and I'm considering, like, aside from the academics opportunities, I'm also considering like working for international companies in Japan, or maybe like Japanese company. And my level is currently, I'm not sure, like I did the N2 like last July, but I don't know about the result. So, but I already passed the N3 GLPT.
Okay. So I think it really depends on what kind of field you're applying for. If you would like to work in Japan, especially for PhD student, because it is very specific to the field mostly. Normal people, like most of the Japanese people or most of the people in Japan, they just graduated from undergrad and then they apply for companies. And I think there are several paths for the companies. Some people are becoming a specialist if you have some PhD background, and probably you can try to find what kind of companies are providing the specialist path for you, and you can apply from this path. And especially what I heard from some of my friends who are also having PhD degrees, this specialist path don't really require very, very high level of Japanese as the normal one, because they know that these people are very good in doing some research, for example, and then they will put these people as a researcher in the company instead of as a normal employee. It doesn't mean that once you are becoming the researcher in the company, you cannot go in different field in the company, no. But you just enter a company as a researcher in a specialist path. And then after that, you can also explore in a different field after you're working for several years there. So probably actually there are some companies you can just try to connect to my LinkedIn, and then we can talk later about this. But what I would like to say to you is actually it is possible for PhD students to get work in Japan, but how they do the Shukatsu is a bit different, and it really depends on what kind of field you're applying for. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Maybe I will ask later on your LinkedIn.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you. Okay. Now we go back to the Senpai Real Talk session again. Okay, before we go to the part 2, can you change the next slide? Okay, we would like all the participants to write a thank you message to Senpai, because they've been sharing great ideas, tips towards Shukatsu. So scan the QR code and share your thank you message to Senpais. So like this. So Ani-san, blah, 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 Anindya-san, blah, 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 Hi-san, blah, 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 Jonathan-san, blah, blah, blah. Or you can write like each section, but please write your comments while we go on to the part 2. Okay, let's start. So the topic 3, your love and hate towards Shukatsu. Let's go with Ani. Your love, hate towards Shukatsu. Can you share your story or your opinions?
That's very interesting, because I never felt like I really hate it, but I think definitely like there were highlights and there were lowlights, and being able to experience both happy times and stressful times really made me feel appreciative. So I wouldn't say like I hate Shukatsu, but I appreciate the process, whether it being traditional or non-traditional. And I'm really glad I did both, because I realized that okay, I don't really enjoy doing Shukatsu at first because that was not the suitable method for me. So, and I would have never had those kind of realization had I not, write my entry sheet and going to webinars. So that was a very important learning process for me. And it made me, for every rejections I get, I realized that it's a redirection for me towards something bigger and something happier waiting for me. So that was very important to have that self-reflection when I was doing Shukatsu. What I wish could have been better was that I really did not enjoy writing repetitive things in my entry sheet. It was especially for my as a creative role. I feel like after I write my 5th or 6th entry sheet, I feel really like creatively tired because or even just for one entry sheet, I would spend like 3 weeks on it. So that was a lot of investment and not getting a lot of output out. So with that mistake that I made, I realized that I have to be more strategic in what I do in Shukatsu. And when I realized that I need to plan again what are the strategy I need to take, I was able to make the correct investment, investing in a mentor. I feel like that is the key to my Shukatsu that story. Yeah. And then second would be to expand my network. And third would be to, push myself out of my comfort zone and find a way to enjoy Shukatsu. So that's what I really love about Shukatsu.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's hear it out from Hai-san, your love and hate towards Shukatsu.
Yeah, I think Annie, speak a lot of the stuff on my mind also, very repetitive. I hate that point too. It's very like in the box. So you have to do everything by the book or else like it's not good, right? I mean, with all the hate with Shukatsu, I think it's a good process to go through. If you do everything step by steps correctly, get your CV good, study your entrance exam tests, like SPI tests well, and then practice your interview. I think it's, you got able to get jobs, but it's a very in the box, very strict, and you cannot find a way to break out from that. But good thing is that recently traditional Shukatsu is more lax. There's some companies which only do interview without entrance exam and everything. So for me, I did some of those companies as well, and it's a hybrid between the traditional Shukatsu and more like a Western styles. Those are pretty good too. So if you can find those companies, I think those are the perfect place if you want to try some hybrid stuff. So yeah, and what I love about Shukatsu,
No love.
there's some love there. I mean, during the Shukatsu, I do meet a lot of people that I still keep connections till this day. So I went to interview in a company. So because we have so great connection, we just don't have aligning values. So I don't work there, but we still keep connection to this day. I sometimes travel with the company to go to
Nice.
places just like as friends, but it's great to see what other companies are doing, and it's great to just meet new people and talk about their many things. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And I just realized that Hai-san created this amazing Notion page, how to do Shukatsu. So the link will be shared in the chat box. But thank you for sharing the screen. Yes. Hai-san, do you mind quickly share
Then when I was
what
doing
you made?
I'm sorry. So back when I was doing Shukatsu, I have a very hard time tracking 50 different job applications. And every time when I do these, I have to have different versions of my CV, or like I have to go back to check, like, do I write the CV in the right format? So I make this like kind of Notion, basically a note-taking tool to like process this thing out. So firstly, if you go up a bit on the first section, you can see quick links. Basically, in these links, I already have like where you can download your CV format, how do you write your CV format, and then where do you study SBI, and then there's a counseling service where you can actually contact these people and talk to them, and they're gonna point you out to the right direction of like which company to apply and how you
Wow.
practice your etiquette and interview. So it's free service, like so
It's
Doda,
free.
yeah,
Okay, everyone
like,
check that out.
check that out. It's Doda free
Yes.
counseling, or also Kimete job counseling service. And also the best few ways you can try to get like jobs and everything. Go to recruiting sites. That's where you can check through everything and mark your favorites. So I did a quick list of collection. So you got the classics in there. You got Rikunavi, MyNavi, Doda, CFN, Career Cross, OfferBox, and Doda Campus. So all those there, and you can add your own links later on once you duplicate my like templates. Also, I have some job fairs. It says, people prefer the traditional old meet and greet. ASEAN Job Fair, Job Expo, you can add more. These are two like upcoming ones. And just for the hang of it, I also asked a like application. So you can actually check out Mercari, amazing company, by the way. They're currently hiring data analysts. So if you're interested, apply to them. And yeah, here's a list. So you can check out the list. I organized it by these columns. You can also add your own columns. So the important stuff here is basically job description, right? You can check job description very quickly. You can see what stage are you in? Have you sent your CV yet or not? And you have a stuff asking about follow-up. Do you want to follow up then or not? And if you get rejected, it's going to automatically move you to rejection view or to follow up later on. So yeah, basically
That's
it's
amazing. Yes.
yeah.
People are saying thank you so much for the template. Thank you. This is really helpful. Thank you so much. Because during Shukatsu, you have to apply so many companies like Annie did.
Exactly.
Annie said like so hard to keep it up. So this notion will be really, really helpful. Okay,
Yes.
thank you for sharing, Hai-san. Okay, let's hear the love and hate Tao Shukatsu to Jonathan-san.
For me, I think the hate one from my case is obviously I'm not good at Japanese. And I think the hate one is when everyone came to me when I come to an interview and like, can you speak Japanese? I'm like, obviously no. And it was so hard to say no to the recruiters because obviously the first impression is important, and that would a lot of the time turn them down. So I think what I really not like about Shukatsu is that I think a lot of the job they're expecting people speaking Japanese, and for a lot of foreigners who are not really good Japanese, that is such a big challenge. But that's just a very minor hate. There's nothing bad about this process at all. And what I love about it is that it prepared me for the actual job, especially the job that I worked in. There's a lot of motion that you need to set for yourself. So Shukatsu, I think, help you to be very proactive in looking out opportunity for yourself. And at the same thing when you become doing a job, right? It's just at university, you are given the task, you are taught, and you just do the same thing and return them back. But at job, I think you are required to be very proactively to seek out things and do it. So I think that's what I like the most about Shukatsu that taught me. I also love it about the fact that I connect to a lot of people. And the question I would really like is, I usually ask when I connect to people on LinkedIn on the job I want to apply is what a successful person at that job look like. So what do they need to have? Can you tell me, can you describe a successful analyst? Can you describe a successful associate in your company? What are the traits of that person? I see if I would be, or do I have those traits? Are they resilient? Are they really good at handling stress? Or are they really good at delivering high results within short timelines? some sort of judge, and I just trying to find an image that's similar to me in these companies. I think that's something that I would like about Shukatsu too.
Thank you so much for sharing. Last but not least, and India-san, your love, hate towards Shukatsu.
This is a very difficult question, but maybe if I am a student right now, I can reduce my hate in Shukatsu because I can reduce the stress of my Shukatsu by using the template from Hai. Because if I were in this, if when I was a student, I was not thinking how to create template, and then I mean, you know, like it is quite using your energy right, to think how to create template, and then after that, what kind of template is suitable for me? How can I track my Shukatsu?
Yeah.
If I have the kind of template that I already created, then it will be very great. So I mean, everyone, yeah, he already created for you guys, so just use it because it's amazing. So first I would like to start from my hate. Actually, it is very exhausting, to be honest, as well as, yeah, it was like sometimes you have to set your body, like set your mental, like you're joining the marathon, but actually the marathon of the small sprint, which is quite crazy. So you have to sprint for one company, and then you have to move to another sprint for another company. You have to move to another sprint for the different companies. The preparations are different. The contents are different. Especially for me, I try to apply for many fields. That time I was not really focusing on one specific fields. So I have to change my mind in a very quick way, how to move to another company using different contents, using different approach in interview, like that. That's what I hate. And then maybe like as Hai and Annie said before, not Annie, sorry, because we didn't do the yeah, Annie said, I think before, maybe especially for the traditional Shukatsu, you have to wear the same shirt as everyone. You are in the box, you have to be the same as everyone. You are not being yourself like that. That is what I hate, to be honest. But what I love is it is very difficult to say, but as everyone already said before, yeah, I got to meet a lot of different people. We could share our experience. I could learn from my friends based on their experience. What we learn is not about the content of Shukatsu, but what we learn is the experience from other people. How do you manage your stress? How do you manage your time? How could you change your mind when you have to move to another company like that, instead of how did you do this Shukatsu with this company? Because once we are asking those kind of questions, and probably it is natural for us to ask the kind of question to other people who has already interviewed with the company that we are also applying for, maybe we will feel more stressed, right? I did like this, but I'm not sure it is good or not. So yeah, what kind of improvement should I do? Maybe it will be like stressful. Instead, I ask like, how do you manage your time? Yeah, how do you deal with the difficulties in you know, like in managing the time, having communication with different kind of people, like juggling your mindset like that. Yeah. And the second one I love, actually now after I did the Shukatsu, instead not during the Shukatsu, I realized that I learned a lot. That's what I love. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Comment. Thank you so much. Okay. Actually, there's one question hasn't been answered in the chat box, so I'm gonna read it. Okay. The question from UN Rose. Sorry, I cannot pronounce. But just the other day, I made it through the first round of interview in a gaishike Japanese company. Do senpais have any tips to ace the next rounds of the interview? I wondered what kind of questions that appeared in senpai's second round interviews during your time doing Shukatsu. What is your personal strategy to craft the best answer? That will be an insightful reference. Thank you. So can anyone answer this question? Maybe it's a difficult question.
I think it is quite difficult question because different company, not every company has same path or same processes. Yeah, some company having only two times interview. Some of them are having like 3 times or even like 4 times. It really depends. So I don't know what is the level of your Shukatsu until the second round. Is it the last interview, or this is just like the second interview for the 5 times interviews? We don't know, right? But my suggestion is just to understand the situation, what you could get from the first interview, and then ask questions regarding more specific, like what kind of field that you're joining for, and then what kind of person that they expect when you're joining to that field. Probably it will be helpful because
see.
according to my experience, like second interview, probably the hiring manager, like the department manager or the manager, will join the interview, and then they will see you, like whether you are fitting the position or not. Probably
Yeah.
you can ask to that person what kind of person you expect, or what kind of skill that you expect from me, like that. Probably it will be helpful to know. Yeah.
Right. Hi, Son. You have some answers or comments? Thank you.
I can confirm what Anindya said also. Usually if your first interview is like a group interview or something similar, like where you do the group project and everything, or first interview is like some kind of technical interview or something. Second interview, usually you're gonna talk with the hiring manager or like a department manager. Yeah. And then after that, more interviews, maybe with like the team, like in big companies usually have different teams. So probably they're gonna take out some teams to talk with you or something similar. And or if like they still have doubts about you, they might add another technical interview. It really depends. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think second interview, it's like compared to first interview, I don't think the intensity is like too much. You should like really hone your answers. Probably gonna be like some question about your what you want to do, or like what are you looking at yourself in 1 year working here, or like how are you gonna contribute, all those kind of questions. I think you can like just talk with yourself, with yourself in front of mirror, make some notes, and then practice. And I think once those questions come, I think you'll be fine. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Hope you and Sun, hope they answer your questions. And okay, Raina asked, I want to know, how do you manage your mental health during Shukatsu process? I really want to know your story towards how to manage your mental health. I often get overwhelmed with all the stuff I have to do or what I think I should do, and it caused me to self-doubt a lot. And then if you have any advice regarding that, anyone can you share your story or advice to Raina?
Well, I might want to go for this one.
Yeah.
Yes, I do struggle a bit with my mental health during the whole Shukatsu process also. So I do get overwhelmed with a lot of stuff. There's a lot ongoing. I don't have a lot of money back then. So I was like trying to balance myself. It was like taking like working part-time and trying to go do Shukatsu at the same time, as well as working, going to class. So I understand like it's very tough managing all those stuff. So it's best that you able to take your time management well. Don't overwhelm yourself. If you cannot like take this interview on this day, or you cannot join this job fair on this day, like please don't do that. Just take it slowly and like put the time smartly, right? So if you apply on like 10 different recruitment sites, take your time to check through those. So Monday you check MyNavi, Rikunavi. Tuesday you like check like Doda, or like you check LinkedIn or something. And then on those days, you like clear out every task on all those recruiting sites, you know. And if you set it like that, you know, it doesn't get you know, cranked up at the end. So you have time to manage all of those. So break down everything. Don't rush yourself. Just like move through everything slowly, and don't worry about rejection and everything. Sometimes it's not you, it's them. It's like, it sounds like a relationship. You know? It's not you, it's them.
But
like,
it's true, yes.
probably they are looking for someone else. Like probably you are qualified, but they're looking for someone younger, or they're looking for someone they can like with less skills, so they can pay less that fit with their budget, right? Who knows? So but once you got that first like offer, when you pass the interview, it's like you get your like confirmation right away. Like, you know, I was like, oh damn. So like those guys didn't pass, but I passed. I was like, oh man, I'm so happy. Like
One
celebrate
victory
with your friends, you know. Remember to have friends to talk it out. It's very important to judge the companion. So yeah, good luck on the job hunting. Hope you well.
Thank you, Hai-san. So regarding a rejection, Jonathan-san can share some like how to manage mental health while you're doing Shukatsu.
I'm not sure if I can be of much help here. I think do take Annie's words carefully, because I think those are very helpful tips. What I can do is I can share extra is create your own barriers, your own kind of boundaries. I think the key to your successful career would probably be discipline. Yeah, like be disciplined with yourself. Get your own calendar. Figure out what time of the day should you study for the company, what time during the day should you look for companies, and what time you should be prepared and setting for interviews. And I believe most of the time, evenings are the time that they don't lock in an interview with you unless they are overseas or special occasion. So I think in evening time is when for you to cool off. Use that time either to change your mind. People see a day to day and they get really stressful because every day is the same rejection, study. So do something really different, and then it would get you out of there. Do your own sports, read a book, anything that a change of mind, something fresh, even cooking. Learn some new skill during that time. Any skill would be fine, but it definitely pull you out of that world just a couple of hours a day.
That's a really practical, great advice. Thank you, Jonathan-san. Anyone else want to like add comments to this question?
Maybe I would like to add a little bit.
Yes.
During the Shukatsu, probably you feel that every time you have to do some different preparations. Like one of the example is to prepare the tracking sheet, for example, for Shukatsu. Some people think that, oh, maybe because now my company is only 5, so I don't have to prepare that just later. And then once you already reach 10, you feel very overwhelmed. I don't have time to prepare. So I think those kind of like administrative tasks, please prepare like far before the Shukatsu, so that during the Shukatsu you can perform 100% without have to think about something that like administrative, like small task. Because it will be helpful to reduce your stress.
Thank you, great advice. Thank you very much. Okay, then let's see. I have another question about interview as well. During one interview, I was put in a room with 4 other students who speaks better Japanese, and that made me a bit stressful. Any tips, advice? Maybe Hai-san or Anindya-san or Jonathan-san.
Maybe Annie. I haven't heard you from a while.
Yes, go Annie.
Very, very difficult because I've never actually sat a group interview before. But I do remember sitting in an interview once with one student that spoke like almost perfect Japanese. So I really understand this question. So actually, like others, but if you have advice, I would love to hear it as well. But for example, like if I were to go into this group interview, I would focus on my strengths. I feel that is something that will make me shine and will make me stand out from others. And instead of focusing on what I lack, I want to focus on what I am strong at or confident with. And I think I've done a lot of observations before because I'm more like an observer than like a speaker. And I realize when people speak about things that they love or passionate about, it's just something really special about it. They radiate this positivity and inspiration. So based on that observation I have, if I were actually to go into this interview, yes, I would be acknowledged that maybe my Japanese is not as good, but I will not point out to people in the room that my Japanese is not good. I will just disregard the facts that maybe that's a problem, and I would focus more on the content of my answer. I would structure it in a way and use the lingo or use episodes using keywords or skills that would highlight my personality, my goal to contribute to the place I want to go, and convince them or persuade them why I would be a good fit in the company. Because at the end of the day, I think companies look for people whether they would fit in their company or not, because skills can be trained eventually.
Yes.
That core values, something that you can bring to the company, it's very unique to yourself. And I think that's what you should focus on when you go enter any interview.
Great, thank you, Annie. Any other tips, advice for the interview?
I agree
The
with
Japanese.
Annie also. Like, you highlight your strength. You don't have to like worry too much. Like a good story is a good story, told by any simple words or anything. If a story you tell, usually in this first interview, I wonder like it really depends on the challenge. If the challenge is like, you got to work on a project and give out answers, don't hesitate. Find your best potential to contribute in that group project. Or if it's a group interview where each of you ask a question about some time of formatted questions and you take turns to answer. And like if you're not the first person, right? Try to listen to that guy on the first guy. Try to listen what's the key points. Learn from him. Actually, learn from one of your group peers. Actually, hear his answer and copy some of the strong points you can get. So, for example, if you tell the stories by parts, like I start with this, copy how he tell his stories. Take it as an example. And from there, like think in your own head with your Japanese, and then just translate it back. Like with simple Japanese up until like entry or level, you can totally have a conversation full on telling stories. So don't worry about that.
Great, thank you. And I thought Jonathan-san was going to answer. Yeah.
Nothing much, to be honest.
Okay.
It just reminded me of the time I got interviewed at the time when everyone was speaking Japanese, and I got this. I know everyone was speaking English, and this one person with very good Japanese spoke out. It's kind of a reverse situation, when everyone was speaking English, and suddenly someone speak out fluent Japanese, and that person did the interview so well. And I know that eventually she got elected to EY partner for the strategy consulting. And yeah, when I talked to her, and I learned a lot from that interview, is that if you face a kind of a situation that is with a lot of disadvantage to you, one thing you should not lose is your confidence. The confidence is key for a recruiter to see whether or not you are confident in succeeding in this job. And obviously, as everyone have been mentioning, focus on your strength and be very confident about yourself. Be proud of yourself. And that will get you through. Yeah.
That's a great advice. Thank you so much. We have 2 minutes left for the Q&A session. So anyone want to ask verbally, you can raise your hand, or you can write questions in the chat box. Do you have any questions? If not, let's see. There's a question sent to me in which specific sites that we have to follow in LinkedIn to find opportunities for an internship for international companies or Japanese companies working financing sector, specifically stock market company or ETF funds company. Maybe that's like Jonathan's specialty.
Yeah, obvious, of course.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
back
I
to
think
you. Yes.
I think that's a tough question. I don't have a one apply all answer for you, but I think majority of the audiences who gonna join this interview, you want to go on the social media and as well utilizing job posting for platforms. A lot of the my friend work at a mutual fund, and from what I know, it's also interesting is that you want to go to the places where they host the events and ask for one. Actually, my friend got into one of the biggest mutual fund job when he attend this event where they just talk about industry knowledge. It's made pretty much, yeah, join these. If you are interested in ETF funds, mutual funds, private equity, or even hedge funds, go to these discussion panel, those meetings, events, and then listen to them and make network there. Actually, go there and talk to them. And hey, I'm a student. I'm really interested in this, and want to learn. I hear about your company pitching this. I'm very interested in, and want to see if you have an internship there. It's fine. I think a lot of people are surprisingly, people in that industry is very open-minded, and you can definitely be fine walking to them and ask. And don't be afraid of hearing no. If you hear no, leave them a phone number and email and say, if you have one, contact me. And I think that would work. Yeah.
I see. Great. Really practical advice. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you everyone for such a lively discussion. Before we wrap up, last message from senpais to the students. We want to hear message. Maybe start with Anindya-san. Can you share a message to the students?
My message is for those who are in the third year or even like before the third year, save your energy. And then if you're interested to do the Shukatsu in Japan, like for your entire year, then prepare everything in advance. Like for example, like the one that I already created for you guys, the tracking sheet. And then if you really need the suits for Shukatsu by now, don't wait. And then after that, prepare the CV as well. Try to look what kind of company you're interested in. And then if you have some doubt, and then if you would like to share with other people, just share. And if possible, just create some like small groups of people who are doing the Shukatsu together, so you can just share some stories to them, and you can also learn from them as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next, Annie.
Okay. I guess I have a couple, but
Yeah,
I would
you can
say
share.
maybe let's try to go for 3. The first one would be to have an approach that's tailored to you. So just because someone is doing these certain steps and they are getting results, doesn't mean that you have to follow exactly what they want to do, because maybe everyone's goal is similar, but how you get there is different. So you need to try a lot, fail a lot, and learn from it, reflect back on it to see what actually works for you, whether it being non-traditional Shukatsu or traditional, reaching out to recruiters or attending events, like everything that the senpais have shared today. After you figure out what's your approach, the second would be to make the investment. Invest in having a scheduled timeline or having how to say, habits for yourself. Try to make time for it. Try to invest in going to networking events, joining JPort events,
Yes.
maintaining a connection. Or for me, personally, for me would be to invest in a mentor, and don't feel like, you know, free resources are good, but you know, you get the amount that input you given is going to be equivalent to what you get out of it. So even if it's going to cost a few plane tickets or a few hours, you know, make that investment because it's going to have the return. And finally would be to have fun. You know, going into the interview as if it's your last, just think about going in the present. Don't think about your third or your fourth interview, you know, just focus on the current steps you're at. Have fun, learn from it, and I guess really take care of your mental health, and yeah, share with other people if it helps you. Yeah. So to summarize, have an approach. What was the other one? Have an approach, make the investment, and have fun.
Have fun. Great. Thank you so much. Next, Hai-san. Message to the students.
Yeah. Awesome message from Anidia and Annie. Thank you so much. For myself, I mean, I will have like short and concise, I think. So I think first and foremost is that try to not burn yourself out, try to live in the moment, and remember to just take breaks. Breaks are really important. And also, when you do these job hunting, while you're taking break is the best time you can reflect on yourself. So, you know, have a habit of writing down what you think on that day. When you have these moment to breathe and moment to think, write down what you're thinking. You know, it's very important. It sounds like a diary, but not really a diary. But you know, once you reflect it, you look back, you can see like what are on your mind. It's very important. Someday when you're in toilet or in bathtub, you have bright ideas. You know, that's how people have bright ideas these days. And so another thing is that yeah, try to here's like some really I mean like people say this a lot, but try to do things early. You don't have to like start serious early. You can just start thinking about it and setting up the steps to be successful in job hunting. Like Anidia said, you don't have to like start right away. Just don't procrastinate at the end when you reach third year, reach fourth year, and you're like, oh damn, I'm late. Let's start doing job hunting. Don't do that. Start trying to contact people who you know that's going to be useful, like during your second year or something, like your maybe career center office in university, and start saving links and bookmark links about like useful tips or useful resources for job hunting, and start you know, thinking about CV. You don't have to do it right there, but you should be preparing. So when you job hunting, you're in top performance. Yeah. And finally, you know, try to reach out to other people, try to ask for help. People on LinkedIn, they don't mind like, you know, helping people if you ask really nicely. So try to reach out, put yourself out there, talk to people. Don't suffer alone. Feel free to reach out to anyone. It's very important to build a rapport. So in the future, you can always have friends. You can always have connection you can talk to. So yeah, take care, guys.
Thank you, Hai-san. Lastly, Jonathan-san, would you mind sharing the message?
I don't know what to say. If I think every senpai here shared the most valuable words already. Yeah, I think the tips you guys already know. Just that know that you guys the next generations and you're gonna be more successful than any of the previous senpais. So have confidence in yourself. Also make time for yourself to cool down, and just know that, you know, currently we in kind of a world where there are more jobs than people. So don't afraid of not having enough opportunities. Just find out about yourself and enjoy the process.
Okay, thank you very much, Jonathan-san. Thank you, everyone. And then please write a thank you message to senpais. And then right now you can see some of others' comments. Oh, that's really long. Nice. So those personal thank you message will be really, really appreciated because these senpais are joining this event as a panelist. Okay, thank you so much. So please write a thank you message to senpais. And yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. And so before we wrap up, we would like to take a photo with everyone. So would you mind turn your camera on? Picture time. Please don't be shy. Nice. Great. Nice. Should we wait a little more? Nice. Okay. Jonathan-san, would you mind turning your
I think
camera
the
on?
host turned off my camera.
Oh, really? Okay. Can you turn your camera on now?
Okay, yeah, that's yeah.
Okay, great. Nice to see your face again. Okay. Are you
I will be
ready?
taking the picture. So if everybody's ready, I'm going to take the picture now. Ready, 3, 2, 1.
Maybe one
Okay,
more.
one more time, guys. Yes. Ready, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you. But we still have some announcements, so don't leave yet. Okay. So this is the end of the event. So thank you for the panelists. Thank you, Hai-san, and India-san, Annie, Jonathan-san. You may leave the event now because there's other job opportunities announcement from J-Board. So thank you. And now there's announcement from J-Port. So Hiromi-san